Once upon a time, in a small village near the edge of a serene forest, lived an old monk named Master Huan. The village was divided by a winding river that flowed with a grace akin to the passage of time itself. Master Huan was respected not just for his age, but also for his wisdom, which villagers believed was as deep as the river that carved the land. People from far and wide would come to seek his advice, crossing mountains and forests just to sit by his side. But the monk had a peculiar habit. He would sit by the riverbank every morning, staring deeply into its flowing waters. Villagers were intrigued by this ritual, so much so that it became a point of discussion during community gatherings. Some believed he was meditating, drawing from the energy of the river to replenish his spirit. Others thought he was in a search for enlightenment, a process enhanced by the ever-changing, yet consistent nature of the river. However, no one dared to ask Master Huan about it, for they feared that the question might reveal their own ignorance. As the years went by, the village thrived, people were born, grew up, and moved on, but the river and Master Huan remained the same. Even as his body showed signs of wear and age, his eyes retained a sparkle, like the shimmering surface of the river under the morning sun. He continued his daily ritual, his presence at the riverbank as constant as the dawn. The river seemed to mirror his tranquil demeanor, and villagers began to regard it as an extension of Master Huan's spirit. They would often bring their children to watch the monk from a respectful distance, teaching them that wisdom was like the river, always moving, yet timeless. Some even started their own rituals by the river, hoping to tap into the elusive understanding that seemed to emanate from Master Huan. However, their presence never disturbed the monk, who appeared to be in a realm of his own, his senses attuned to a different frequency. And so, life continued in this fashion, an almost mystical balance maintained by the monk's unexplained, but deeply respected, connection to the river. Yet, even as the villagers revered Master Huan, they couldn't shake off the nagging curiosity about what exactly he saw in the river. It was a question that hovered in the air, thick like the morning fog that rolled over the village, yet it remained unasked, kept at bay by a blend of reverence and the villagers' own apprehensions. One fateful morning, a stranger entered the village. She was unlike anyone the villagers had ever seen, a wandering scholar named Lai Wai, who was well-versed in various arts and philosophies. News of Master Huan's wisdom had reached her ears, and she had traveled many days and nights to reach the village. Her eyes were keen, alert, and constantly observing, as if trying to capture the essence of everything she encountered. Unlike the villagers, Lai Wai was unburdened by local customs and reverence for the monk. She had heard legends of wise men and women throughout her travels, and she considered wisdom a pursuit, not an end. With a determined stride, she approached the riverbank, her eyes meeting Master Huan's. Their gazes locked for a moment, a silent exchange of acknowledgement, as if both understood the gravity of the forthcoming interaction. Finally, Lai Wai broke the silence. "Master Huan, I have heard of your wisdom and your daily communion with the river. May I ask what you see in its depths?" She was direct and to the point, an attribute that startled some villagers who happened to be nearby. Master Huan looked at her thoughtfully, as if measuring the weight of her question against the expanse of his experience. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke. "Many have wondered, but you are the first to ask. Tomorrow morning, join me by the river, and perhaps you may find the answer you seek." Intrigued, Lai Wai agreed, and the villagers could not contain their astonishment. For the first time, someone would join Master Huan in his morning ritual, a privilege that had never before been granted. Word spread like wildfire, and that night the village was abuzz with speculation. Many were excited, but a few elders expressed concern. They worried that this break in tradition could disrupt the harmonious balance that seemed to govern their community. Nonetheless, anticipation filled the air, mixing with the sense of wood smoke and evening meals, creating a palpable sense of expectation. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the skies filled with stars, people retreated to their homes, their minds alive with imaginings of what the morrow would bring. Lai Wai too spent the night in deep contemplation, her thoughts flowing like the river she would visit at dawn. She questioned the nature of wisdom, its forms and manifestations, and whether it could truly be encapsulated in a single, definitive experience. That night, the river seemed to hum a quiet lullaby, as if aware of the significant event that was about to unfold. Its waters moved in the soft moonlight, creating patterns that danced and swirled in an intricate choreography. The river, ever so tranquil, seemed to be in a state of quiet excitement, a mirror of the collective mood that had enveloped the village. As the first rays of sunlight began to illuminate the land, the villagers awoke to a day unlike any other, their hearts beating in sync with a shared sense of anticipation. It was a morning that carried the promise of revelations, a morning where the age-old silence would finally be broken. Lai Wai prepared herself for the meeting with Master Huan, her eyes reflecting a blend of curiosity and respect, aware that she was on the cusp of understanding something profoundly significant. Thus, the stage was set for a conversation that had the potential to answer the question that had mystified the village for generations. What did Master Huan see in the river that captivated him so deeply, day after day? As the first light of the day broke over the horizon, both Lai Wai and Master Huan arrived at the riverbank. The morning air was crisp and invigorating, filled with the aroma of dew-kissed earth and blooming wildflowers. Villagers had also gathered at a respectful distance, their eyes filled with curiosity and their hearts brimming with anticipation. Lai Wai took her seat next to Master Huan, her eyes meeting his for a brief moment before both sets of eyes turned to the river. The river greeted them with a melodic rush, its waters gleaming in the rising sun like liquid gold. Master Huan started his usual ritual, his eyes piercing into the water, his mind seemingly transported to another realm. Lai Wai watched intently, her own gaze moving between the monk and the mesmerizing flow of the river. She tried to see what he saw, to penetrate the depths of the river with her intellect, to grasp some hidden essence that had eluded so many. Minutes passed, turning into hours. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting dappled shadows through the trees that lined the riverbank. Birds serenaded the unfolding scene, their songs adding an ethereal layer to the sacred silence that enveloped Master Huan and Lai Wai. The monk's face was serene, almost statuesque, a portrait of tranquil concentration. Lai Wai, however, grew increasingly restless. Her mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, questions, and theories, but no answers. Finally, Master Huan opened his eyes and turned towards Lai Wai, his gaze calm yet piercing. "What did you see?" he asked, his voice tinged with an inscrutable emotion that seemed to hover between curiosity and wisdom. Lai Wai hesitated for a moment, grappling with her own disappointment and confusion. "I saw a river, beautiful and ever-changing, yet I could not discern anything beyond that. It was as if the water mocked my attempts to understand it." Master Huan nodded, as if expecting this very answer. "Many see the river, but they do not really look. They perceive its surface, but not its essence. They grasp its form, but not its function." His words were like pebbles thrown into a pond, creating ripples that extended far beyond their point of origin, altering the shape of Lai Wai's understanding. "Do you wish to see what I see?" Master Huan finally asked, his voice imbued with an enigmatic warmth that felt like an invitation to an unseen world. Lai Wai nodded, her eyes gleaming with renewed interest and a dash of humility. Master Huan gestured for her to follow him. He led her to a part of the river that the villagers considered sacred, a place where the water circled around a massive, age-old boulder, creating a natural whirlpool. "Sit here and free your mind of thoughts. Do not seek to analyze the river. Instead, become one with it. Let your consciousness flow with its currents, rise with its bubbles, and rest with its stillness," he advised. Lai Wai followed his instructions, her eyes closing for a moment as she tried to synchronize her mind with the natural world around her. As she opened her eyes again, her vision seemed to blur for a moment, and then she saw it. Something ineffable, something extraordinary. As Lai Wai opened her eyes, she felt as though she had stepped into a new realm of perception. The river before her seemed to come alive, its every ripple, every eddy, every subtle shift in hue pulsating with a profound resonance. It was as if she could see the lifeblood of the earth coursing through the water, a liquid tapestry of interconnectedness that bound all things in an intricate dance of cause and effect. For the first time, she realized that the river was not just a body of water. It was a living, breathing entity, an embodiment of the natural world's wisdom and complexity. As she watched, entranced, the river seemed to impart its secrets to her, secrets that were ancient yet eternally relevant. She sensed its ceaseless flow as a testament to the enduring pursuit of purpose, its ever-changing currents as a metaphor for life's inherent unpredictability. The swirling whirlpool around the boulder echoed the challenges that one faces, obstacles that could either hinder progress or catalyze transformation, depending on one's perspective and approach. For Master Huan, watching Lai Wei's transformation was like witnessing a lotus bloom in fast forward, its petals unfurling in a poetic expression of realized potential. He could see that she was no longer just looking at the river. She was experiencing it on a visceral level, her entire being resonating with its profound intricacies. The expression on her face was one of awe and humble realization, as if she had stumbled upon a treasure that was both overwhelmingly beautiful and humblingly vast. Turning to Master Huan, Lai Wei finally understood what had kept him by the river all these years. "You've been commenting with a teacher," she said, her voice tinged with emotion and newfound respect. "A teacher that imparts wisdom not through words but through existence, through the very essence of being." Master Huan nodded, a look of satisfaction illuminating his age-worn face. "Yes, the river is my teacher, and it has lessons for all who are willing to truly see and listen." The gathered villagers, who had been watching the proceedings with bated breath, erupted into whispered conversations, their voices filled with a mixture of astonishment and reverence. For them, the day had unfolded like a legend come to life, a tale of wisdom sought and found, enshrined in the heart of their humble community. Many felt as if a heavy curtain had been lifted, revealing a vista of endless possibilities, a deeper understanding of the world around them. However, even as the air filled with the tangible excitement of a collective epiphany, Master Huan sensed that this was just the beginning. The river, in all its profound complexity, had infinite lessons to offer, and the task of understanding them was a journey without end. As he often told his disciples, wisdom was not a destination but a path, one that meandered like the river, replete with twists and turns, obstacles and openings, beginnings and endless continuations. The sun had reached its zenith, casting its golden glow over the village and the river that had been its silent guardian for generations. The day felt like a culminating point in an eternal cycle, yet also like the dawn of a new era. The villagers returned to their daily tasks, but their actions were imbued with a newfound sense of purpose and understanding, as if they had been touched by the fringes of some grand cosmic tapestry. Lai Wei prepared to leave the village, her heart and mind enriched by the profound experience. As she bid farewell to Master Huan, she realized that their meeting was not a mere coincidence, but a serendipitous alignment of destinies, a confluence of journeys that had enriched both in inexplicable ways. "Your village, your river, and you, Master Huan, will forever be etched in my soul," she said, her voice filled with gratitude and awe. Master Huan smiled, his eyes twinkling like stars in the clear daytime sky. "And you, Lai Wei, have become a part of this river's story, a story that has no end, for wisdom flows like water, carving new paths even as it honors the old. May your journey be like this river, full of lessons, surprises, and boundless possibilities." Time, much like the river, flowed on. Seasons came and went, painting the landscape in an ever-changing palette of colors and moods. The story of that extraordinary day spread far and wide, carried by the winds, whispered by travelers, and immortalized in the songs of wandering minstrels. Lai Wei went on to become a respected scholar and philosopher, her teachings imbued with the wisdom she had gained from the river and Master Huan. She spoke of interconnectedness, of the necessity to look beyond the surface, and of the importance of understanding that every element in nature had something to teach. Back in the village, the dynamic had subtly shifted. The children who had grown up hearing tales of Master Huan's wisdom began to sit by the river themselves, seeking to commune with its eternal flow. Some even claimed to have experienced moments of enlightenment, brief instances where they felt they had touched the essence of life itself. The river had become more than a natural landmark. It was now a symbol, a living monument to the endless quest for wisdom. Master Huan continued his daily ritual by the river until his very last days. Even as his physical form weakened, his spirit remained undiminished, radiant as the first rays of the morning sun that kissed the river's surface. When he finally passed away, the entire village gathered to honor him, sharing stories and reminiscing about the lessons he had imparted. His body was cremated, and his ashes were spread into the river, a final union with his lifelong teacher. Years later, a statue of Master Huan was erected near the riverbank, capturing him in his signature meditative pose. It became a place of pilgrimage, visited by seekers of wisdom from various walks of life. They would sit next to the statue, their hearts and minds open, hoping to catch a glimpse of the understanding that had made Master Huan a legend. And sometimes, just sometimes, they would feel it. The gentle tug of enlightenment, as elusive as a drop of morning, yet as transformative as a torrential downpour. Lai Wai returned to the village many years later, her hair now streaked with the silver of wisdom and experience. She sat by Master Huan's statue, her eyes meeting the eternally peaceful gaze of the monk who had once opened her eyes to the world's deeper realities. As she looked into the river, she felt a profound sense of gratitude and completion. The circle had closed, yet it was also perpetually open, an endless loop of learning and growth. The river itself seemed to acknowledge the passage of time and the cycles of change, its waters embracing the new even as they paid homage to the old. It flowed past the village, through valleys and plains, its journey a never-ending tapestry of twists, turns, and transformations. Yet in some inexplicable way, it remained unchanged, its essence untouched by the fleeting hands of time. So the legacy of the river and Master Huan lived on, a testament to the enduring pursuit of wisdom and the beauty of unanswered questions. The villagers, their children, and their children's children continued to seek, to wonder, and to explore, each finding their own unique connection to the river's infinite expanse. For they had learned that wisdom was not a treasure to be hoarded, but a current to be navigated, a flow that could carry them to unimaginable vistas of understanding and peace. And thus, the river continues to flow, a living narrative written in the language of life itself, its syllables composed of droplets, its paragraphs demarcated by seasons, and its chapters defined by generations. It whispers its ageless secrets to all who are willing to listen, its waters a mirror reflecting the complexities of existence, its course a roadmap to a wisdom that is as profound as it is elusive, as concrete as it is abstract, and as individual as it is universal. In the grand tapestry of life, where every thread is woven with the yarns of countless stories, the tale of Master Huan, Lai Wai, and the river remains an eternal motif. It serves as a reminder that wisdom is both a quest and a legacy, a journey and a destination, a question and an answer forever intermingled in the ceaseless flow of time, just like the river that never stops, yet is never the same.